Kylie Jenner's makeup artist was in a tragic car accident recently, and as a result, he suffered some head injuries and needed to have emergency surgery. Now, we live in America where if you don't have the right kind of insurance that costs you a lot of money per month, you're gonna have to pay a lot out of pocket. And there was a crowdfunding page set up in order to raise $60,000 for this emergency surgery. Now, most people learned about this tragic accident after Kylie Jenner posted about it in an Instagram story. I want to share a quick screenshot of that where she says, "May God watch over you and protect you, makeup by Samuel. Everyone take a moment to say a prayer for Sam, who got into an accident this past weekend, and swipe up to visit his family's GoFundMe." Okay, now Kylie Jenner is actually getting a lot of backlash for that post because Kylie Jenner is notoriously wealthy. In fact, back in, I believe 2017, Forbes ran a feature about how she's a self-made billionaire. Turns out that she's actually not self-made, which wasn't surprising, but also is unlikely to actually be a billionaire. But she is very, very wealthy. In fact, so wealthy that her fans were livid that she was asking for these donations when $60,000 is really nothing for Kylie Jenner. She could easily just snap her fingers, pay that amount, help out her friend and makeup artist, and we're good to go. But that's not what happened. She donated $5,000, and that did lead to quite a bit of backlash. I'm gonna give you examples of what people are saying and how Kylie Jenner responded in just a minute. But I do think it's important to note that Kylie Jenner spends a lot of money on a lot of dumb things. And if she's concerned about her friend and this makeup artist, then she should have just helped him out. But let's take a look at this video so you kind of get a better understanding of why people are upset.
Her huge social media following also brings in a hefty income for Kylie through sponsored posts. The estimated value of a single post is $1 million. She's posted ads for Quay sunglasses, Teamy Blends Detox Tea, Sugar Bear Hair Vitamins, and more. Kylie's social media is also where we can see how she spends her millions. In 2016, she purchased a 1.4-acre Hidden Hills compound, which includes a 1,300 square foot mansion for $12 million. Over the last 2 years, Kylie has bought at least 5 other properties totaling more than $40 million. With all those properties, she definitely has the space to store all of her luxury cars. Since receiving a $225,000 black Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon for her 16th birthday, Kylie has amassed a pretty impressive luxury car collection.
I mean, guilty. Like, let's just wrap it up. No, let's not wrap it up. That's actually not what I think. Let me give you more details. Now, Samuel Rada is the name. No, it's guilty. More complicated than that. No, it's not. But here's the thing, Cenk. It's not up to individuals to pay for the medical expenses for workers. The government should do it. It's a broken system. At the end of the day, it's a broken system. First of all, the system is broken when this person who's really done nothing in her life other than make crappy lip gloss is able to rake in hundreds of millions of dollars and buy not 1, not 2, but 5 properties in a state that has a serious housing crisis. The system is broken. So I'm not saying that she's completely not guilty. She is a symptom. She is the product of a broken system. Now, people are angry at her because she only donated $5,000, right? When she could have easily just paid for the medical expenses. And she has the means, why not do it? If you genuinely care about it, why not do it? But I don't believe in mutual aid. I don't. Mutual aid is great, but I don't want to live in a society where we rely on mutual aid. I want to live in a society where people's basic needs, their human rights are met, and healthcare falls under that category. This this guy's a makeup artist, right? And based on what I've read about him, and I wanted to learn more about his career, right? Because if you're not a unionized makeup artist or hairstylist, you don't have health insurance. If you're just a freelance makeup artist, you might get hired by rich people like Kylie Jenner. In fact, this 26-year-old makeup artist has been hired by Chrissy Teigen, Khloe Kardashian, other wealthy people who can clearly step in and provide aid in this moment, this tragic moment in his life. But again, when you rely on the whims of wealthy people, well, that's not the kind of system where people are gonna have their needs met. That's the point that I'm trying to make. So is Kylie Jenner bad? Yeah, sure, I guess she's bad. But again, she is a symptom of a broken system. And I think that we need to actually do something about that system rather than focus all our energy on talking about how awful Kylie Jenner is, which she's pretty awful.
Okay, look, we actually have a fun poll on this in a second that compares her to her other awful sister. But first, I want to double down on the two things Anna's saying. First of all, you don't get to brag about being a billionaire and then ask people for money to help your friend and not chip in that much. That's like, it's so Trumpian. Oh, I'm the richest, look at all my cars, look at all my houses. And I'm gonna lie to Forbes and I'm gonna say I'm a billionaire when I have whatever it is, 600 million, 800 million, what difference does it make, right? The press report says that she makes $450,000 a day, okay? So no, you don't get to ask us for money. No, guilty, okay? So now, but overall, Anna's point is the most important one, which is, God damn it, let's do Medicare for all. What are we doing? Anderson Cooper asks every time a progressives suggest Medicare for all, how are you gonna pay for that? With goddamn Kylie's money. That's how we're gonna pay for it, okay? Apparently the rich don't know what to do with their money. How many Mercedes does she need? How many mansions does she need? Look, guys, it's not to be punitive, okay? It's because I'm just saying something that is literal. Obviously, there's a lot of room to tax the wealthy. Tons and tons and tons of room to tax them, right? But we will not tax them. It's driving unbelievable income inequality. 40% of the country is bankrupted by a $400 problem. 40% of the country, that's over 100 million people. Meanwhile, Kylie's like, oh, should I take this Mercedes or that Mercedes? Haha, that's so funny. Let's make my fans pay for my friend's medical expenses. No, it's not. No, it's outrageous. So the reality is every other developed civilized country in the world has universal health care. We're the only ones who don't. Why? It is on behalf of the Kylie Jenners and the Donald Trumps. They want to protect all of their money in their infinite greed and refuse to do a system that is just, and by the way, costs half as much because of their insatiable greed. And so as we go into the poll, look, for the Kardashians and the Jenners, they should, I was almost gonna do a petition instead of a poll, a petition to rename them, their last name, to late stage capitalism, because that's what they are.
It's interesting though, because one other takeaway from this story is just how much the culture has changed. Because the early years of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, flaunting that kind of wealth was something that brought in pretty significant ratings, right? And it was because I think at that point, most Americans were still delusional enough to think like, no, this is the land of opportunity. I'm watching what my future can be. I can be wealthy and successful like that too. But I think with what most Americans are experiencing right now, especially during the pandemic, when the government failed to fulfill its one and only role of protecting the American people, it's just become abundantly clear that this system is broken. And for those who continue to flaunt their wealth like the Kardashians do, they seem to be pretty puzzled at the negative reaction they've been getting. And this isn't the first time. I don't remember if it was Kim Kardashian's birthday. one of them was celebrating a birthday and they decided to like rent an entire island during the pandemic because they wanted to party and have a good time, even when things were shut down, even as hundreds of thousands of people were dying from this virus. And they were shocked at the backlash they got from that. Yeah, you're getting backlash because it is tone deaf. And it's so disconnected from the experience, the lived experiences of pretty much every other American in this country right now. I do want to just quickly give you one quick example of a tweet that was out there. Complex Sneakers put out something saying Stormy, that's Kylie Jenner's child, got her own pair of dad's PlayStation Dunks. This made me realize how old I am because I don't know what that is, and that does not sound fascinating, but it does seem very expensive. And one person responded with, her outfit is worth more than my life. And I think that's what people see whenever the Kardashians and the Jenners flaunt their wealth like this. Now, in response to the criticism, Kylie Jenner says this: I saw my current makeup artist and friend Ariel post about Sam's accident and his family's GoFundMe. It compelled me to visit his GoFundMe, which was set at $10,000, Jenner wrote. Now remember, the stories that I read said that it was set at $60,000. So there's a conflict there.
No,
she
she's
also
lying.
says,
let me be clear.
Yeah.
She's definitely lying.
She says that it was originally set at $10,000. I think that you're right that she was misleading people. She says they had already raised $6,000, so I put in $5K to reach their goal, right? So she's trying to make herself out to be the good guy here. She's like, I don't know how all of this got so twisted, but his family has reached out through Ariel and are very appreciative. So she's like basically saying, get off me. I'm just trying to be the good guy here, and I didn't do anything wrong. So look, again, I think that I get why people are irritated with how she handled it, but Kylie Jenner is not the root of the problem, right? Getting angry at Kylie Jenner is, and believe me, 5 houses, yeah, I'm pretty angry at Kylie Jenner. But Kylie Jenner, again, is the symptom of this broken system. She is a pretty face on the issue of inequality in America, a situation in which you can have so much wealth, but one of your workers, right, freelance worker, but still a worker who dolls you up so you can take your cheesy Instagram pictures, can't even afford medical bills. Why is it that Kylie Jenner gets to rake in hundreds of millions of dollars, but the people who make Kylie Jenner who Kylie Jenner is, all of the glitz and glam, they struggle? And that's not something that's isolated in this particular story. That is represented in every single job, every single profession in this country because the system is broken.
Okay, we did a fun poll here. Remember when her sister, I guess Kendall's her name. I don't follow these trash shows where people rub how rich they are in our faces. And she said she did the ad for Pepsi, where she cured Black Lives Matter and all other ailments with Pepsi. So which one is more trash? I mean, guilty. Kylie for her tone deaf GoFundMe post. Well, there's a Go Something Me post she should have done instead. Anyway, Kendall for her BLM Pepsi ad. It's a good
Can we
question.
actually just quickly go to that ad? Just real quick, it's a snippet of it, just to remind everyone of how ridiculous it was. I can't believe Pepsi thought that was a good idea. Like, just give a cop a Pepsi and everything's okay.
No, but look, that ad, I know that we're trying to do the right thing. And I know that Kylie was trying to do the right thing and at least donating and making people aware of this person's pain. So I'll temper it with a little bit of that. But guys, that shows that everybody at Pepsi, I mean, there had to be hundreds and hundreds of people involved in making that ad. They all are apparently soaked in white privilege. and wealth privilege, because they're like, oh yeah, protests are fun parties. No, people get their ass kicked at protests. They get shot in the eye with rubber bullets from cops. They get tear gassed by cops. They're not parties, and the cops aren't going to be persuaded by a Pepsi. And so it's so performative. It makes it look like, oh, we're on your side, minorities. Oh, look at all the different minorities we featured on this ad. Are we actually gonna do anything about it? No, we're gonna keep the same exact oppressive system, but meanwhile, you should drink a Pepsi while you're doing it. So it's just there, but the point that Anna made, I'm gonna double down on as well. The Medicare fraud, we're very clear about that. But the second thing is, they're a symptom of the disease, and the society is changing on them, and that's why they're confounded. They're like, what? We used to make fun of all you poor people and middle class people all the time, and we would rub it in your face, and you would love that kind of masochism, and you would pay us billions of dollars for that. Now we don't get to rub it in your face anymore. God, the rules have changed. We don't like this. And the person in that family that drives all of this is their mom. Their mom is one of the worst forms of capitalist greed I have ever seen in my life. I'm not at all surprised that family gets along with Donald Trump really, really well.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.